In the world, there's different types of workplace culture that people experience. I'm going to be talking about France compared to the US work culture. Imagine it's May 8th, you're sitting by a lake enjoying a beautiful day with all of your family and friends. The only reason you are sitting by that lake right now and not in the office is because it's a holiday that every working individual in France gets to enjoy off while being paid. The workplace culture that France has to offer is completely different than any other places in the world. It is one of the best places to hold a job because of all the days they offer for holidays as well as paid vacation days and daily working hours throughout the year. The differences I will be discussing today are how the French manage their life and work balance, how often they are paid and how it helps them in the long run, how their personal lives differ from their work lives, and the appropriate body language and attire daily. First, their work to life balance. They have about 15 days off. They have about 15 hours off a day. They get to sleep, eat, spend time with family, or do extracurricular activities that they may enjoy doing. They work about 35 hours per week, and they tend to start at a later time daily and end later. Their working day is split up by a lunch break, which is pretty generous. It can last up to 2 hours. On Sundays, most of the stores are closed in the city, and if you're in an even smaller city in France, then they close sometimes on Saturdays in order to keep the family time viable. Individuals also aren't required to answer emails immediately. It is only mandatory that they check their email during their working hours. They also value productivity more than face time in the office. As long as you're getting your work done, your hours and how much you're in the office don't really matter to them. They just want to make sure that you're completing the work when it needs to be completed. When you're working, another fact is when you're working, and when you're off, you don't do anything involved with working. When you're in the office, the only time you do anything with work. If you're with your family or friends or on vacation, you don't worry about it. I found a law that France passed in 2000. They passed a statutory working week in France from 39 hours to 35 hours. It was introduced in 2000 for companies with more than 20 employees and in 2002 for companies with 20 employees or fewer. Studies by the Office of Economic Cooperation and Development suggest that France is below the OECD average when it comes to hours worked, and consequently, French employees have above average leisure time on an average day, which is approximately 15 hours dedicated to personal care and leisure. Another fact was that they're paid once a month. By doing so, this helps families budget their money better, and it helps save families money. They can set aside more money during a month, and if they don't spend all that money, then that's when they tuck it away into savings, and that's how it helps them save money. Next is their work versus their personal life. The people you work with are your work associates. That's it, nothing more. You don't share much about your family with your working associates. You're not best friends like in America. You are very close with your coworkers, and you talk about your family all the time and the different activities you guys may partake in. But in France, it is completely separate. You will rarely ever hear an individual talking to a coworker about their spouse or their children or a vacation they may have went on. They don't even have pictures of important family members or friends on their desk showing loved ones. Lastly is body language and appearance. In France, on the daily, you dress fancier, that way you look smarter and more knowledgeable about what you're doing. When you're speaking to someone, you sit up straight, that way you come across as more educated. You have very formal speaking instead of informal speaking, and on occasion they will drink more specialized alcoholic beverages compared to the alcoholic beverages we consume here in America. They drink wine more often than beer or shots that people in America tend to participate in more often. A quote I found was, "Americans live to work and the French work to live." This quote stood out to me because of the mentality behind it. Americans live to work. All they do is work. Their life is based on their work, and they describe themselves with their work. They're a teacher, like that's their description when you meet them. Whereas in France, if you are sat down to have a dinner with an individual and you don't know their job, by the end of the night, the odds are you still won't know their job because they don't describe themselves as their job. They take other attributes that they have and take that into their personal appearance and how they want people to know them.